Hey everybody, welcome to the nightly video, and we're going to start with the indexes. So SPY, you're going to see on the 60 minute a lot of chop this morning. So you got a nice 3 broadening formation. They poked it up, came back in off a 15 shooter, and then no new highs or lows to that, causing a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hour inside bar to that. So almost close to an inside day. That being said though, you can see we got stuck to this range in here. Specifically in here, completely stuck. So 535.73, 530.97. How we getting out of that? Opening as a 2-2 week to the upside with no continuity in our favor. If it goes 2-2 tomorrow, we'll have full time from continuity down, pivot machine gun. If it goes 2 to the upside, we'll be conflicted with the month, but we'll have the weekly for control with a magnitude up into there, 55483. So we'll see. We do have PPI coming out tomorrow morning. Dow Jones. It goes inside day, so that could, with a gap, turn into a rev strat, or could be inside up or inside down PMG tomorrow. If it goes down, it will have full time frame continuity with a rev strat month to put that back in force. And when we say PMG, we mean we're looking to take that out, that out, that out, that out, and that. So you can see this would trigger that potentially, and then if this gets hit, all of these will get taken out. So either down, or if we go up, might take out some of these guys up in here, but we got some distance to cover. Could be a 322 on the week above, around 396.40, and rev strat month down below, below 390.82. So like we say with the strat, we don't really care if it goes up or down. We just want to know that it's moving, right? So it's got to get going somewhere. If it's still an inside week come later this week after CPI, then we're probably not going to get too much, but we'll see. We got IBM. Opening as a 1, full-time from continuity down on the week with a 2-2 reversal day to open. Could cause a rev strat month below 200.18. So if this reconfirms down tomorrow and we see Dow Jones breaking down, SPY going down, Qs going down, then this would be the weakest one we know about. And Dow Jones would be that signal inside bar down, second second weakest in the indexes. As far as what we saw today, we have the list right there. So in the staples, we saw some hurl. 2-2 week to the downside PMG, potential outside month. So we want to know about that tomorrow. If that reconfirms, we'll see if it sets up again. Need some triangle out action on the 60s. If we go to KHC, same thing. 2-2 week off a 2-2 day, potential outside month. If we go to TSN, also staples, 2-2 week, potential outside month, starts off an inside day down. So we'll see again, do they set up some 60s for us to continue doing that or not? We also saw gold. So GDX opens as rev strat week to the upside, could negate that month in a full time for continuity. And you got this slight corrective 60 at the end of the day, so it could open as a 2-2-60 tomorrow. GLD, you'll see this. You can see an inside bar actionable signal. This is where we told everyone we want longs in the gold. And we're looking to take out some of these guys up in here. And it does have that yearly enforce that we talked about in the macro videos. 1,312 above that still, 193. So if you bought gold, 18%, not too shabby. That being said, though, the week is reconfirming that inside week up and coming into its targets more than likely tomorrow. You also see the junior miners, GDXJ, doing very similar with the 2-2 week, just not a rev strat. And then JNUG, similar with a 2-2 week, same thing. So we got all the gold moving. We'll want to know about that. We also saw today not only gold, but oil. If you go to USO, opening as a 2-2 week, it does look like an inside week there, but given what we know to be true about time frames, we're going to see this. This was last week, Monday, Tuesday. This was Friday, so we closed 2 down in green week, went 2-2 week, and then finished out this daily try here. You could also be looking at CLF for the futures, but here's your try. Can we get out of that and keep it expanding? And USO could become inside year up, and it is a depreciating asset, I believe, because it's an ETN, so it's trying to mimic the crude oil futures. So just be aware of that. You will have that kind of depreciation to worry about. But if crude's going up, that's the stock, equivalent. Crude opens as a 2-2 week, and you'll see this occurred well before all that news came out. If you go in here, so you can see news came out, I believe it was up in here towards the open, but you can see in here, inside 60 up, 2-2 week in force with the month. Now red to green, and you can see that's coming from monthly magnitude because we caused this broadening formation. Poke up, poke down, and then potential poke up again back in there, 84.50. We'll see. Nowhere near reversing that. And therefore, potentially energy names, again, some some messed up charts here. If we go to a 12-hour, you'll see kind of just a doji here, but they've been grinding it up ever since the 2-2 week on a, or 2-2 day on a Tuesday last week. Energies are still going, so this is where they're buying. Still red on the month, which is why it's kind of this grindy mess up in here. If we go to XOP, you're going to see similarly just grinding its way up there and opening as a 2-2 week. OIH, little weaker in the OIH, so they're not quite benefiting from the oil prices as far as we can tell there, right? So we'll see, though. Energy numbers are Wednesday if they're going to get some more movement there. But we do have that PPI tomorrow, so we'll see. If things do weaken up in energies, OIH would become rev strat day down PMG, so keep an eye on that. But that being said, the other stuff we know about is War Machine. So DFEN is the defense sector. And you see DFEN does open as a 2 up on the week. Sorry about that. And if we go to then Lockheed Martin, opening as inside day up, green on the week, green on the month. Go to NOC, NOC, opening as hammer day up with inside week in force, which I don't believe is true. Again, some of these trading view charts are just messed up in here. So still in, it could be 2 up, continuation week above that. Closing as inside 60 in NOC for tomorrow. And then Lockheed Martin closes as a 60 hammer for tomorrow. So we'll see. RTX. Also going to be in there, opening as a 2 up day, slightly red. So if they come in and buy this again, I believe this is inside week and up. Yeah, above this, like around 116.86, give or take. So we'll see. The only other one in there is GD, and GD was 2 down today, so not participating. If we go and then hit IYZ, you can see kind of like the IDBMs, goes inside day and then rev strat to the downside, resolving lower for a 3. And that's going to be your Charter and Liberta, which we haven't talked about in a while, but they're setting up again. So you can see 3 a week Charter, 2 up, 2 down reversal, and then 2 down again. Seller came back to sell more. So we'll see if they triangle that out and want to start working their way into this big old gap down in here. And you can see that's back through the previous 3 to take this out. 306.10, full time for continuity down. So we'll see. It could also set up an inside month for next month, but depending on how aggressive that seller is, if they come back tomorrow, we'll see. Liberta, that's my favorite one to say. 2 down, 2 down as well, back into this 3. So now notice, simultaneously full time from continuity down, simultaneously back into these 3s on both of those names. And the last stuff in here we can talk about is, let's see, on the downside, we did see them come in selling Pfizer a little bit, momentum shooter weak. We'll see. It's not top of my list there. Same with Myrna. Myrna could become, you can see on the month, or if you go to the quarter, I mean, it's already hit quarterly magnitude, but still quarter shooter, so it could take these guys out down here, but not at the top of my list. I like this stuff in here where we have a lot more evidence. That being said, going into tomorrow, we want to see 322s, rev strats, inside bars, and what do we got there is our question. Go to app.stratalerts.com, does all the heavy lifting for you, so we'll take a look. So we go to the day, we go to inside days, and I like to sort higher ATR names, so 3 to 5. We can start with 3, and then market cap, we can leave it as nothing unless there's a ton. So there's 112, we can up that to like 50 to 100 billion to give us the more liquid names in there. And we can go filter by direction to remove duplicates. There's your 12 inside days. So we have Amazon, DE, Dow Jones, so Dow Jones Industrial Average. And then in healthcare is ELV, LLY, Mark, Uber, and then, or not Mark, Uber, but Mark, SYK, VRTX. So you got some healthcares in there and tells us we can look at the XLV. So XLV opens as 2 down on the day, nowhere near 2 down week, nowhere near taking that quarter out, nowhere near taking that month out, but it is, slightly 2 up red back into a 3 on the month. So maybe we'll have to see. That being said, though, you'll have those inside days there. And then in the big names, Meta, Amazon, with the news later this week, you see Meta could cause a 2-2 week with an inside day hammer and negate the monthly participant from red to green. If you go to Amazon, still very red on the month. So this one's 3-2 week above that, which we'd want to know about, but still very, very red in here and reclaiming all-time highs. So unless we can get back above 187.95, that is going to be something we want to be aware of. And it's because your broadening information looks something like this, right? So here's your boom, 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 and then question mark, right? So we'll see. Will be an inside day there, though, as well. And then DE, John Deere, inside day, closer to reconfirming a 3-2 down on the monthly. And here's a big try on DE. So you can see we had the big weekly try. We had some nice trades off the bottom of it, but 1-3 on the month, We caused that 3 with the weekly down in here, hammer week, right? From the inside day to set that up. Then they went 2-2 week from exhaustion risk on the week. And then they're back down to these lows and a 3-2 at the downside now. So that could be expansion. If things are weak tomorrow, this would be opening really weak. We would want to know about that in the Dow Jones. Outside of that, now in the tech. Now in the tech, could cause a rev strat week above this, 817.80, still an inside month, inside day to trigger that stuff. So just be aware that you could get some triangle action in here. Since it's still an inside month, you got to stay up and out of that, or you could rev strat and take all these guys out if it breaks up. If it breaks down, you got this try to come back through. We can then also go and take a look for our rev strats. So since most things went 2 up and slightly red today, we want to look at shooters first just to see. We go 1, 2, 2 setting up with the shooter. AXON Industrials, BKR Energy, GitLab Technology. So AXON. You see slight rev strat up in here, very green on the month, but the month is a 3. So if the week, day, and 60 group start negating that, we have no evidence of a monthly buyer, and they could come back through that. We'll have to see about that. Obviously, looks like you had this nice gap up on the week up in here. Again, I think these weekly charts are all messed up on TradingView. No idea why. I should probably reach out to them. But maybe, right, coming from exhaustion risk. If so, bigger time frames, year is very green, quarter very green and inside and up. So you're countering a lot of stuff there. Not the best. BKR. This would be a 1-2-2 to cause an outside week to go 3 with the potential to go 3/4. Notice coming from some quarterly exhaustion risk. So poke up and then back in. Rev strat here would cause you to take these guys out. Never traded it myself. Then GitLab 1-2-2. You'd have full time from continuity down with the quarter. If you go on the month, you got shooter month in force. This would reconfirm that. And you can see our try. This is something we identified a long while ago. And then they had the slight poke up, 2-2 month, and then back through the try. Slight triangle out, shooter counter hammer, and back through the try again. And you can see the last rev strat in here did well. So we'll see if that happens again. We'd look to take these guys out, 40-71, and then we'll see. If we look then on the upside, you can see we have more rev strats. So we got a lot of names here that we do know about. Sorry about that. If we go to Oxy and the energies, so this is just going to be momentum to trigger a weekly in the energy sector. It's coming off a very slight lower low. So everyone, this is why we love people who trade support and resistance, because everyone's long against this stuff. Then it takes them out, it stops them out potentially, right? And then they're forced to get back in. So momentum hammered to cause the week. If the energies want to get moving again, could set up a monthly for next month. We're in the middle of the month, so we'd prefer to negate that and try and go 3, but we'll see. In the Utes, PCG will have the hammer to try and get the hammer week going, to try and get the rev strat month going. And that was something from the weekend video. If you go to CHRW Industrials, rev strat there, doji month, but could cause a 3-on-2 week if industrials start going tomorrow, and you got some PMG up into 102.50. If you go to Dash, you got rev strat there. It'd be full time from continuity, confirming rev strat month with a magnitude still up in here, 132.07. So above this, Dash, we want to know about that because you got about $7 to get after. If we go to ILMN, healthcares, rev strat, so if healthcare's firm up, this is a 2-up month, could become 3-2 weeks, still a little bit stuck in there, so beware of that 3-day inside bar pattern. KVUE and the consumer defensive, a little bit stronger still with the monthly enforced from all-time lows. Used to be somebody a lot higher. Lulu, that's so it could move, right? But you got some distance to cover to change that month and everything, so not so much there. MCHP Tech, slight rev strat, very red on the month still, so could cause a hammer. We can counter that monthly in the chips, but we'd prefer to go after chips that are green on the month at this point if they're going to recover those things. If we go to O'Reilly and consumer cyclical, you'll see double inside day there, which could cause a 2-2 week, still inside month, so it could be showing some lack of interest there. But you can see they buy, so maybe they really buy and take the offer and take these guys out. Very expensive stock there. And then TECH in the healthcares, again, just very red on the month, so no thank you. From the top of my head here, I'm actually missing one thing that we're supposed to talk about at the beginning of the video. ANF, 2-2 week here. ANF, so 2-2 week PMG. This is something I want to know about. Negates the month. And I did take a position in the morning stream, so we'll see if that reconfirms for ads or not. We also did see some Walmart trying to do that. Did pull back at the end of the day. We also saw SE, 2-2-week consumer discretionary, or consumer, yeah, I believe it's consumer discretionary. Forgive me if I'm wrong there. But 2-2-week, really green at the close. You can see they just bought it all day, negating the month. So SE and ANF, two things we want to know about there. And I believe that covers most of it. We did not look at 3-2-2s or 3-1s. So 3-2-2, we can look, or actually on the rev strats, let's go 2 down in green, 2 up in red, just to make sure we cover the bases there. So 2 down in green, there's not much additional stuff there. 2 up in red. Looks like there's a few consumer defensive names. So Pepsi could cause rev strat day into, this would be a 3-2 week to the downside, and then potential 3-3 month. So that could be bad with the few consumers we've seen get going already. Hurl, KHC, and TSN that would join the party. If we go to Philip Morris in the consumer defensive, it would negate the month in a full time from continuity down, could cause an inside week down with a rev strat day PMG. So another thing to be taken some of our attention there. And sorry, I'm kind of squinting to see. Now let's check out the 3-2-2s if we got any of those. So 2 down in green for the 3-2-2s. CCI for the potential outside week. Doji month right now, but it could PMG. That is the real estates. If you go to XLRE, has a slight hammer on the day. And then DXCM Healthcares. No, thank you. That's Mother Bar on the month. We don't buy that. That's not a buy. If you go to 2 up in red, we got a few more there. Boulder. A little bit stuck there. CINF. Could cause an inside week down in the financial sector if we go to XLF. And XLF is a 2 up in red to start. Potential PMG if things get puking again. So we'll keep an eye on that if that's the case. Normally I prefer to go after like the JPM or Bank of America stuff. But in here you got Google. So if tech gets puking again, 3-2 month down Google, and then 3-2-2 on a Tuesday, potential outside week Google. And you can see this is a form of a rev strat where you can see we get 1, 2, 3, 4 days stuck inside. So this is your equilibrium, and then 3-2-2 here could cause you to bring it all the way back into 156.98 if tech is weak. The last thing here is going to be VZ, which is kind of a no-go for me. So Google is probably the best one on that list. That being said, though, that's going to be your nightly video. There's probably going to be some gaps tomorrow morning, so just be aware of that. And if there is gaps, go to the inside bar lists looking for either rev strats or trying to follow through on those inside bars if they're nowhere near reclaiming the inside bar highs or lows. And obviously, we'll keep an eye on the indexes and disseminate that gap. But that is your Monday night video. I hope you guys had a good trading day. I know it's kind of choppy, but if you are looking for the things we're looking for with continuity and simultaneous breaks, there was some stuff moving all in this list. That's pretty much all we could find today. So that being said, see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning for those in stat. If you're not in stat, I'll see you guys in tomorrow night's nightly video talking about what had occurred and what we talked about. So adios and have a great rest of your night.